Sharingan, more like Mystic Eyes of. I haven't watched Naruto. I can't actually finish this joke. Are
We're
The
back.
Sharingan are, I think they just allow you to copy shit.
you serious?
Yeah,
Is that it?
I think they just
It
let you.
feels a little
Yeah,
underwhelming, not gonna lie.
I think Sharingan. Hold on, it's been a while since I've seen Naruto, but I'm almost positive that Sharingan just allow you to like copy stuff.
That-
What
hmm.
do Sharingan eyes do?
Someone please tell me in the comments what
Hold on.
Sharingan
Oh,
do.
what does Sharingan mean? In the anime or manga series Naruto, the Sharingan is the ability to allow a ninja to copy by mere sight the opponent's techniques while gaining incredible reflexes and perceptive abilities. They are the mystic eyes of copying.
Hero Emiya.
They can trace on.
Oh my god.
But like
But like instead of swords, it's just chakra.
abilities.
Sure. It's just it's
It's
just
ninja.
jutsus.
It would be like as if Shiro could copy the magic that he witnesses.
That feels like a real thing in Fate, actually. That feels like it
Probably.
exists.
I mean, if it doesn't, it should. That feels like a very fate thing.
That's my Nendo, my hero of justice way.
Oh no.
Anyways, we're back on Witch on the Holy Night.
Fucking believe it. Fun fact, I actually say believe it in FF7. I am not kidding you. I had to sit there and with a straight face go, that's the spirit of the text. Believe it. Like I had to straight up say that. I'm like pretty sure it's still in the game too. I don't think they changed it. Like I don't think I had to record it in any way. So I think there's just a line in there at the very end of the game with me being like, believe it.
Believe it, Tosaka.
Oh my god. Anyways, elsewhere, just a short moment prior. Buffeted?
Buffeted, I think.
Buffeted? Buffeted by strong winds atop the roller coaster, Sojiro gravely peered down at the ground.
Hang on, I'm.
Hang on.
Sure.
What?
That's how it's pronounced.
Buffeted? Or buffeted?
Wait, did you not hear my phone?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god. All right, hang on.
You have to put that real close to the microphone.
Can you hear it?
I just heard 50.
That's gonna sound real weird in the recording. Okay.
It's fine. It just says I just hear buffed.
Where?
It's fine. If this word comes up, it'll be fine. Oh, it's fine.
Buffett is.
Buffeted? So it's buffeted.
That's what we're assuming.
Cool, it's buffeted.
Anyways, next line of narration.
Narration. That's you.
Hmm?
All he could muster was a single murmur. He could see Alco on top of some drawing on the ground and...
What in the world is that thing made of?
in the distance, there was something familiar in the direction of the ruined House of Mirrors. Sojiro's job to throw Alco's hair from a great height was complete. While not the most impressive of tasks, it was absolutely a matter of life or death. And to top it all off, just thinking about how he was going to get back down to the ground was making him dizzy.
The egg is still there.
I know, the egg is just looming. He had experienced more than enough trouble
egg.
for one day.
Wait, but... Uh-oh.
He was flustered as he stood atop the swaying bridge. A skull suddenly appeared in the sky above. On the ground, you could see a circling blue light with Aoko Awazaki in the middle of it. And one more thing. A shadow was approaching Aoko that only someone with his vantage point could see. A shadow missing the lower half of its body.
Oh. Oh.
That's fine.
Oh.
Super
I don't want to sleep tonight anyway.
Oh. Why does it have a real spine?
Hold on, let me take a picture. This will be the background.
This is gonna be the thumbnail.
This is gonna be the thumbnail.
Why does it look like it has real organs? I hate that.
Maybe it's a FNAF animatronic.
Oh my god.
They put the body of Michael Afton in it.
Oh no. Oh no. No, not again. No, I'm not strong enough.
Oh god.
Is that him? Is that the man behind the slaughter?
Truly is it?
The mannequin behind the slaughter? Did you get it?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
cool.
The upper half of its body was slowly clawing its way to Aoko. There were still over 600 feet apart. Unfortunately for Aoko, she completely failed to notice it approaching from behind.
Oh, that's not good.
She was having a mental crisis.
No, yeah, she'll be fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's too far away to make out, but ain't that?
He was sure of what it was now. Oh, that's terrifying.
My god.
There's only one thing in the park that would chase Aoko and not him. The puppet.
But I mean, maybe it's coincidence, right?
His mind ran in circles. It was a perfectly reasonable reaction. Any grip on reality he might have had left was long lost when Aoko started firing beams of light at the monstrous moon.
You know what? That's entirely fair.
He's like, I am not dreaming anymore, and I know that, and that's terrifying.
Whoa!
Aoko's merciless buffeted the roller coaster like a storm. Just standing on it was almost enough for him to be thrown off and killed. At any rate, Sojiro couldn't fathom the situation. Should he head back to the entrance of the roller coaster and warn Aoko about the incoming threat? Would he make it in time? No, there was no way he could make it in time. And to make matters worse, there was a hoard of bread down there waiting for him.
Ah, no. Not the yeast, man.
Not the croissants.
I never thought I'd hear, to make things worse, the hoard of bread down there. Like,
Yep.
Hoard of bread.
There was a hoard of bread.
Only in Type Moon.
Truly. And it may very well have been the case that Aoko was already aware of the puppet and would take it out as soon as it got closer. If she was, Sojiro was sure he would only be in the way.
But
it did not seem like there was anything he could do to help. And beyond that, Alco was not the only one in danger. He was in quite the predicament himself.
Is this him
This is
talk?
someone.
This is someone. All right. Fair
I
enough.
think it's you, probably.
You can't go home again.
The road home was never as safe as one thought. It was as true here as it had been in the mountains. The path he was on was no exception. As risky as the ascent had been, it was even more dangerous to go back down. Why don't you just slide on your butt?
That probably hurt.
I mean, fair, but like treat it like it's like carpeted stairs. Try your best. This is no time to be worrying about others. His shaking legs reminded him that only 200 feet separated him from death.
I'll be fine. I know that. It just...
His head was pounding. This was reckless and stupid. Having been raised in the mountains, he was more sensitive to danger than anyone raised in the city, and just thinking about what he was about to do made his throat seize up.
Oof.
There was only one thing he could say for sure.
Aozaki has no idea that thing is coming for her.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh.
With a sobbing shout, Sojiro started making his way down the 200-foot frame of the roller coaster. This is a groovy song.
What?
The song in the background.
Oh, for sure.
His race towards death accelerated. He never meant to speed up, but the downward slope propelled him forward. Gravity will do that.
So true. Here I go.
It was too late for regrets. Now that he was running, he had no choice but to go even faster. And time was not on his side. He never would have made it in time if he'd taken the long way down. Never mind the breadmen crowding the exit of the roller coaster. With the exits blocked, the outcome would be the same whether he went down slowly or quickly. There was no reason to rush to his death or desperately as he did.
So what?
So what if it was futile? Sojiro cleared the doubts from his mind. He turned his attention to what he could do. Keep his footing and try to arrive at the bottom as quickly as he could.
Focus. Forget whether you'll be there in time to save her. The most important thing is...
He had no idea what impulses were driving his stiff limbs. He just focused on the moment, pushing past the fear and the cold logic. At his core, he was the kind of person to deal with problems head on. There would be time to think about consequences later.
Oh god, the egg.
But hesitation was not his only obstacle.
Not now.
The worst possible hindrance appeared at a time when not focusing on the track would have meant certain death. Sojiro sensed something wrong with the egg he had been so studiously observing out of one eye.
What's it saying over there?
Queen Alice. I think it just says Queen Alice Moon Grass? I think it says Queen Alice Moongrass.
Interesting. Okay, sure.
Maybe it meant glass, but there's no L.
And it's blue.
Christ.
This ain't Tsukihime anymore, but I still make the joke.
Of course.
Something had changed. And at the very moment he realized,
I can't be looking to the side right now.
Sojiro stumbled, then instinctively caught himself. It was a miracle he had not fallen. Descending a roller coaster on foot was an act of suicide. The egg stayed right by his side, so close it was likely it would collide with him. Just ride it like a little cart. Jump on it. Though he was trying as hard as he could not to look at it, he could not help but feel unease that the door-like decoration in its center was gradually opening.
Oh God.
A little gremlin pops out, some confetti.
Ah, damn it. Why now?
He cursed his rotten situation. Get it? Rotten. Egg. And yet he refused to slow down. He ran even faster, glaring at the egg on his side.
What the hell is going on? Why? It has the worst timing.
Sojiro was baffled to find that he was smiling. Perhaps it had something to do with Alko's charm. Sojiro could not tell one way or the other. He could still feel Alko's fingers on his skin. The trust and expectation she had placed in him was etched into his heart. But what spurred him on was something entirely different. This all stemmed from a much deeper problem. It was something inside him that he could not understand at the time, but would eventually come to terms with one day.
All right. Less than 5 feet left.
He carefully judged the distance as he ran down the track of death. But the distance between the distance between what? That went without saying. It was the distance between himself and the one thing that could save his life. He told himself he was going to do it, over and over, like a mantra. Sojiro could not believe himself. What he was about to do was incredibly stupid. But what is stupid when smart is not an option?
You know what? You got me there.
That's a senior quote if I've ever seen one.
Real. So true, so true. Spit your shit, my guy.
Oh, fun fact. I took senior photos and then they didn't even put them in the yearbook because I didn't know this because they didn't like specify it, but they weren't taken by a very specific like photography center. So they didn't put it in the yearbook.
Oh.
Even though I turned them in, they were like, yeah, these have to be sent in by this photography center because you should have gotten them there.
Thanks.
And I was like, no one fucking told me that. So these are not viable. And they're like, no, we can't put these in. It's like, oh, Gucci. Thanks, guys.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really gonna do this? This is insane.
Amidst it all, he laughed at how pointless such self-reflection was now.
Oh, crap.
Temporary confusion, a psychological thrill ride, both had laid his soul bare. What really mattered? But a simple man gets by without deep thought. Sojiro's primitive mind did not crave success or reward. Oh look, you can see Aoko.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Alco.
For him, it was simple.
All right, this is it.
He was doing it because he wanted to. Not because he felt obligated to. He felt
Obliged.
It's obliged, okay. That he felt obliged to those around him. His desire to live his way was his and his alone.
Here we go.
I just imagine that was the egg.
Oh.
Oh, if the egg had been equipped with a vocal function, it would have gasped and shook. What happened next? What is the egg?
Oh my god.
Just...
Humpty Dooby surprised, I guess.
Like gasp from the Dumpty?
Egg gasp, egg gasp.
Dumpty egg gasp. The boy, who had only tried to escape up until this point, suddenly shifted his weight. He pointed his feet outward instead of inward.
You're gonna try and punch the egg?
That's what I'm thinking. I think
Holy
he's
crap.
I think he's actually gonna try and jump on the egg.
Oh my god.
On
Alright.
the edge of one rail, he crouched ever so slightly to maintain momentum and gaze gaze at the floating egg. Is he fucking Naruto running?
Oh my god. Alright. Close enough. I can do this.
Oh.
Oh my god.
He really is going for the egg.
Oh my god.
He soared through the night sky. It was a flight that lasted a mere 1.5 seconds. A cordless bungee jump from 100 feet above ground. His destination? The only thing that would stop his fall. The giant flying egg.
Holy crap. My dude is cracked.
Like this egg is about to be. Insert scream here. He shrieked, this time out of elation. He had desperately clung to the egg's surface. You know, I was joking when I said that he should, like, ride the egg. I didn't think that was gonna be serious.
No, it's real.
Fun, I love it. Just earlier, the cold-blooded witch had told him that without fear the top of a building would feel no different than a balance beam. This from the same witch that would have been left speechless had she witnessed this spectacle. Fearlessness was one thing, recklessness was another. He followed it up with an act that would irritate her for days to come.
I'm relying on you, egg.
Clinging to the egg, he shifted his gaze away from it. He felt the rapid descent. Sojiro, focusing his half-shut eyes on the ground, leaped off the egg once they were a few feet from the ground, then turned back to it, careful to re-establish eye contact.
Oh my god. My dude is cracked. Holy oh my god.
Something so unbelievable, though to Sojiro. The elevator at the department store and the mysterious floating egg were both just moving objects, virtually indistinguishable from one another.
Oh my god.
This boy, I swear.
Alright. It didn't break. It's always a shame when food goes to waste.
This boy. He landed near the plaza. The shortcut that almost cost him his life had paid off.
So true. Oh my god.
Sojiro took off running the second his feet touched the ground.
This man is actually insane.
I love it. The puppet after Alco was the only thing on his mind. He paid no mind to the moonlight in the sky.
She can handle it.
Or the egg, furious about being used and seconds away from self-destructing and blasting fragments all over the place.
Oh my god, the egg's gonna blow up. Aozaki!
Huh? Ako's dumbfounded expression spurred Sojiro on. The curse was complete. The empty egg began to sing its warning to let them know that there was no escape.
Holy crap.
Shrapnel from the egg exploded through the air. The Ode to Queen Alice that Alice had engraved into Dumpty quickly robbed him of his senses.
Okay. Was that it?
He snapped back to the task at hand and ran to Alco, still lying on the ground. His legs ran of their own accord. Though he could not have ever stopped them anyway, since he could no longer feel them.
Holy crap. Don't you puppets ever give up?
The Scrambled Murder Case. Piles of rubble became flowers of light blooming from the earth. The final curtain drew closed, and the defeated left the battleground. Had Alice Kuanji seen it up close, he would have left her beside herself, but you had escaped by hair's breadth. Breadth?
Breadth.
Breadth.
Yes. Breadth.
Breadth, yep. The only person in a position to witness the rare mutual destruction was the girl who had been saved from it. The boy who had never stopped running paid it no mind.
I thought you were a goner.
The safety of the girl in his arms meant infinitely more to him than the miraculous way in which he had saved her. He's such a good boy.
Real.
That kind of looks like a lion's face. Sorry.
I do, yes.
You got like the nose and then like the little mouth and then that pink balloon is kind of like an eye.
Yes.
Anyways, the moon did not wait for dawn to set. The ornamental texture of the fairy tale kingdom faded away. All of the illusions returned to the way they were before. For the ostentatious chords reverberating through the streets. To the puppets welcoming their guests. Peace and quiet reigned once more. Over a forgotten kingdom, never to be awakened again. Out flickered the embers of a late-night dream. Even the electric lamps that illuminated the park. Together, they watched it disappear. Sojiro lay on the ground, desperately gasping for air like a fish out of water. The curse of the exploding egg had numbed his pain, and he was understandably exhausted after all he had experienced. He looked like he could be blown away by the lightest of breezes. While Alco was also exhausted, she was still in better shape. I think the blood on her arm would kind of beg to differ, but, you know.
Fair, yeah.
Just a thought.
Just a bit, you know. It's fine.
Yeah, just a little thought that rang through my head.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just a scratch.
Tis but a scratch. It's a flesh wound, if you will.
It's a flesh wound.
Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Now what's that then? I've had worse. You fly. God, I love that movie.
Anyways.
Focused on taking deep, even breaths, she was already working to recover her strength. So, she addressed Sojiro indifferently as her gaze remained on the amusement park. The abruptness of it was a bit theatrical in nature. She wanted to look at him as she spoke, but her pride was simply too great. You did something kind of amazing, didn't you? The moment she'd accepted death had seemed like an eternity. She was beside herself in shock at how indifferent she had been at the shards raining down from the moon. But a reassuring voice had snapped her back into reality. Whoops, there goes gravity.
Oh my god.
Why did he do it? What was he thinking? What moronic thing did he have to do to pull it off? Jump on an egg. She had no answers for these questions, lying on the ground as she was. All she knew was that he had more than made up for his failure in the House of Mirrors, and then some, in those fateful final moments. She addressed him, hoping to find answers, but found herself unable to probe any further. To dig any deeper would feel like defeat, which is why it was so unlike her to ask him in the first place. Lucky for her, Sojiro had neither the capacity nor sensitivity to understand how egocentric she was being.
Amazing? Well, you were pretty amazing, Naozaki.
He stuttered between labored breaths. It was taking him so much effort just to breathe that he could not address her properly. She watched him out the corner of her eye. Thinking back on it, the boy had performed the same role each time. Each and every time, he did what he could in spite of his fecklessness. It was far more admirable than her nearly suicidal tactics, even if she did defeat her opponent. He did not even recognize how extraordinary his last act of courage was.
Here's an idea. If I help you kill that thing, will you let me go?
At the very least, he had the courage to keep trying whatever he could. A spectator might have viewed him as a supporting actor. His actions were not exactly memorable, but the lead actress he supported did not see it that way. Well, I don't really want to admit it to myself, much less say it out loud, but such inspired actions were wasted in a supporting role. This guy really pulled off the impossible. It was so amazing that she wanted to shout it at it as loud as she possibly could for all the world to hear.
How, Zaki?
God, he's so innocent, it makes me want to barf. All Aoko could do was sigh. How could she not? Even if she was forced to admit that the way he'd snatched her from the jaws of death was dashing. I must be getting soft. Truth be told, he was a lunatic for doing what he did.
And you feel the love tonight?
She steadied her breathing and composed herself. She was in bad shape, and she had her pride as a mage to consider, which was why she needed to maintain an air of dignity when making a proclamation. Suzuki, I originally meant to let you off the hook for today only, but I'm willing to let that whole thing go. For the time being, I've decided to let you live. She hastily extended her right hand. It was either to shake his or to help him up. However, Sojiro did not take her hand, but instead stood up on his own. This night, despite the sheer insanity they had just experienced, his face had not an ounce, or had not once looked as incredulous as it did now. What? Something wrong? She stammered, worried that she had deeply embarrassed herself. Sojiro's gaze was fixed upon Aoko. A problem had dawned on Aoko. Though she normally hated being stared at, this time she did not mind. Rather, she was enjoying the warmth in his eyes and felt like it was something she could almost come to appreciate.
Oh, right. This is Tobimaru.
Yes, it is.
Don't you get it? This isn't about friendship. And I didn't mean he only likes you, either. Believe me when I say that Sonoji really...
Oh no. The conversation came rushing back. It was a memory better left forgotten. No, not happening. Pushing Tobimaru's words out of her mind, Aoko turned to Sojiro. Don't get any ideas. I don't care about you in the least. Puzzled, Sojiro tilted his head.
Huh? You already told me, You already told me how much you dislike me.
He responded matter-of-factly to her sudden declaration. She certainly had pointed that out, and to his face no less. It had a mere figure of speech that he was not meant to take literally, but now was not the time to belabor the point. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying you shouldn't get your hopes up, no matter how far you've fallen for me. Yet belabor she did anyways. Elko blushed slightly, realizing how inane she was being. She wondered how she'd ended up in this position. And yet, she knew that she had to get this off her chest. All that was left was the politely wait for his response.
I can't date you.
Such heartbreakingly painful words were too much for the simple boy to hear.
Oh wait, no, that was you.
I hate it when there's just words on the screen, but there's no like voice to go with it.
Fair enough.
We just have to make our best educated people guess.
Oh well.
I can't date you. Such heartbreakingly painful words were too much for the simple boy to hear. His shoulders slumped as if the words were coming to an end. Or so Alco thought. On the contrary, Sojiro was sitting there in deep thought.
Did you just say I'm in love with you?
Sojiro murmured the words as if they were a magic spell. She shot right back with the affirmative.
Affirmative.
I know words. At a moment of deep contemplation, the boy turned to the expectant girl and said,
Why do you think that? I thought the freaking record scratch freeze frame really happened. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
just, hi, you're probably wondering how I got into this position.
Hi.
Well,
Hi. My name is my name's Sojiro Suzuki. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation.
well, it all started when I moved down from the mountains in that summer of '09. In that summer of '89.
Good god.
Up in the mountains, born and raised.
Oh my god.
Near the
Forest
river is where I spent most of my days. I don't know. Just the mountains, that's it. That's all he has.
You do be in the country.
Oh, such a good boy. He had to be joking. But he wasn't.
Oh my god.
He was completely serious. So, he liked her, but he didn't like her.
And the color is draining from the rest of the background.
I love it.
Her ego is demolished.
It's been shattered a little bit. Of course, the vice president had jumped to conclusions. This boy had no interest in romance. He probably didn't even know what that was.
Romance? What does that mean?
So,
What does that mean?
so.
You alright?
She was incredibly embarrassed by how confused Sojiro still appeared to be. Her rosy complexion spread through her entire body.
Alright, I'll ask again, but why do you think that?
That's what I want to know!
This girl really thought she was in a Shiru and Rin situation.
Oh my god.
Damn.
She just slugged him, just like right hook.
Oh my
And
god.
decked him.
Real.
Wait, can you take the words away again so I can take a picture of it? I just
This is the thumbnail.
immortalized.
This is
Perfect.
the thumbnail.
This is the thumbnail. Something's the thumbnail. Something will
Something's
become
the thumbnail.
I have multiple thumbnail
This could be a
options.
wallpaper though.
I-
want that as a
I think
wallpaper.
melting dog might have to be replaced with this.
It's still been melting dog this entire time.
Yeah, on my school laptop, it's just a melting dog.
A melting
Melting
dog.
That's what it's been since we started doing the game.
Oh Oh my god.
Do teachers not find that weird?
Well, I don't have any classes that are like inside the building, so no.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's
big
fine.
W.
So yeah,
As
so
is
no
a
one's
big
actually needed to
one.
see it. However, when I did have a class that was inside the building, my previous one was a pastel girl holding a pastel Tommy gun. So I feel like it might be an upgrade.
I
So
mean,
and my
less-
teacher did say
it's
that.
less of an illustration.
At least the dog wasn't
At least
seen.
it's not as illustrative.
Uh-huh.
At least the dog wasn't seen. It's fine.
It's just in the corner with love looming over it.
Melting,
He do be melting some dogs.
Mhm.
turning dogs into big gulps.
You freaking moron, Toby Morrow!
Somehow I feel like
He sneezes in the distance. He's like,
yeah,
Someone's talking about me.
someone was talking about me.
huh, how weird.
Perhaps I have been mistaken of some kind.
Perhaps
No,
I've
that
made a
can't be it.
Perhaps I've made a mistake of some kind. No, I don't
No.
make mistakes.
Of course not.
Of course not. I'm the reincarnation of love. Cool.
Exactly.
Just
Law
like
became the
that.
new Roa. I see.
She had lost her cool and given in to an unjustifiable outburst. It was time to seal
Well, I
off
guess
the
she
area
made
and
good on
destroy all
planning to murder him.
evidence. Alco's embarrassment devolved into sheer panic, and her grudge against Tobimaru suddenly manifested as criminal assault.
My god.
She lashed out with a punch that could have taken down a bird mid-flight. More
Oddly specific.
specifically, it was a brutal right hook. Oh. Alco blinked. Her blow had connected with something solid, snapping her out of her
Reverie.
reverie.
I'm just
I
imagining
was gonna say there was a neck snap.
No, not the boy.
Hey, you know the Yamcha pose?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I'm
my
just imagining
god.
Sojiro.
Oh my god.
Oh man, bro was taken out.
You mean the death pose, right? The thing
Yes.
the same thing. Okay,
Sojiro
cool.
Did nothing wrong.
Sojiro did nothing wrong.
Sojiro did nothing wrong. I don't know what you mean. Her temper had lashed out at the completely defenseless Sojiro. He was not ready for that right hug.
Yowza.
God. If he's still standing, I will be amazed. It had been a splendid blow with all her weight behind it, knocking him out cold.
Holy shit! Oh my god.
Okay, so he is on the ground.
He's dead.
Guess who has to carry him? Oh my god.
Get being a mage.
No.
She needs to be an MMA fighter.
Sojiro groaned. Oh, that was you. Sorry.
Ow.
Sojiro groaned, crumpled to the ground. Crumbling to the ground.
He's lost teeth, I bet.
Her punch finished the job that the curse had started. If not for the oh my god, fuck. If not for the discomfort on his face, he appeared almost to be sleeping. Alco convinced herself that he was napping, not concussed. Well, whatever. It was always going to end up like this anyway. What, with you giving him a solid right hook to the face?
Sure.
The tension at her shoulders eased away as she looked down at Sojiro. A ton had gotten in her way over the course of today, but the day was saved. For now. Thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. With nobody left to butt heads, she felt exhaustion finally overtake her. How the heck am I going to walk home like this? How are you going to carry Sojiro? You just going to leave him?
You just gonna
In
leave
an
him?
abandoned amusement park? Ma'am?
SMH.
I know we talked about him being like so fatigued that he wasn't going to make it to school tomorrow, but I definitely think he's not going to be able to make it to school tomorrow.
Absolutely not.
Her fatigue was enough to make her complain out loud. When she thought about it, she realized that this was the first time she had used up all of her magical energy, and the first time she had participated in a battle on this scale without any prior preparation. Though, in truth, it would have ended in mutual destruction if I'd been alone. She felt somewhat proud as she whispered those words. Normally it was something that she would beat herself up over, but instead she simply shrugged her shoulders with a bitter smile. After all, it was thanks to that person sleeping After all, it was thanks to the person sleeping beside her.
Ow.
Hey, you can't hear me, can you?
Youch.
No, I'm dead ass asleep. As if the night had swallowed her voice.
No,
before it
I'm
reached
dead.
him. She received no response. In a moment, she continued in an even quieter voice. So, thank you. You really got me out of a jam there. He sits up. Oh, you're welcome. She punches him again.
You're welcome.
It's like in Megamind, like they hit him with the forget me stick. Of course, there was no response from Sojiro, and she was not expecting one. Saying it for the record was enough. Alco watched Sojiro sleep for a while, and then pulled something out of her pocket. It was the palm-sized glass bottle her roommate had given her, which she opened with a pop. But none of this matters. Leaving behind words colder than a winter chill at night, she called out his name. She barely sensed the bottle moving. As the silhouette of the fallen boy appeared to blur, she got the feeling that the weight of the bottle had increased slightly. What? Whoa, that's kind of weird. What appeared to be a human form could clearly be seen inside the glass. Alice Kawanji's tools were mystics that confounded even the most knowledgeable of mages. As soon as Alco tried to analyze them with logic or reason, she was already out of her depth. Knowing this all too well, Alco closed the bottle and watched the boy disappear, as if by some magic trick. So he's inside the bottle. He has turned into Thumbelina.
Yes.
Or Tom Thumb, if you will.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
What if she drank him?
We're not going down that rabbit hole.
Oh.
We're just gonna hit the next button. Also, I don't know.
Frank, why did you ask this?
I don't think there's any liquid in it either, so I don't think he's fucking like pickled. Jeez, this
Oh,
is
I
no
thought
stage
he was
trick.
turned into space dust or something.
Also, why would you eat? I don't. It's whatever. Jeez, this is no stage trick. It's actual magic. She muttered as she looked into the magical bottle.
Those are hefty words you're using there.
Hefty
Actual
words of
magic?
actual
Is it
magic.
actual magic,
True
or is it
magic?
like the actual magic, or is it like weird, or is it like funny magecraft? There's difference.
Truly. Its weight had not changed significantly. She had no idea how it worked, but the one thing she did know was that there was a human being inside of it.
Crush it.
Its light weight was almost unnerving. Closer to empty air than a human being. It was about as heavy as one would expect if they'd bottled a summer breeze. Though that did fit her image of Sojiro perfectly. It's just like Alice said. She muttered to no one in particular as she recalled the past. This really isn't like me. Alko wore a bittersweet smile. Her unusual moodiness was gone. It was a dangerous world out there. It was good to have someone to keep her on her toes. With a weary chuckle, she flicked the magical bottle with her fingers and set off walking.
Imagine if she flicked it into the ground.
God.
She could hear a bell in the distance, signaling the end of the play. The ephemeral dream gave way to reality. In the grand scheme of things, it had been but an instant. As the actors exited stage left, the last of the lights silently flickered out. And so, the long-dead amusement park played its final role as a memory for a boy and a girl.
I think he thought he'd be stuck inside a bottle when he woke up today.
Oh, no. He didn't think he would be going to an amusement park to get hunted down and killed today.
No,
So,
probably not.
why does it
That's
say
fair.
new on them? You have to click them. Please. What the fuck? Why did they say new? What?
What?
Why do those books say new on them? It's driving me insane.
Can you read them? So they
I think if you
say
read them,
they
it takes you
not
back to
only
that chapter.
Probably.
Yeah, it takes you back to that chapter.
Oh, okay.
It's fine, we saved. It's all good.
Maybe there's a new route in that chapter?
There's no question, there's no options
There's
for us
no-
to take.
There's no routes. I think.
It's just a linear story with pictures.
Yes.
What?
What in the world? Okay, hang on, wait.
What?
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 Okay, hang on.
Did that not
Is-
happen before?
No. Don't save over that. And you did.
What?
Oh, I thought you saved over it.
No,
I was about to
that was
have
a load.
heart
No.
attack.
No, that was a
Oh, no.
load. Yeah, that was a
Okay.
load. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. Anyways, like a dog. So my thought process is that Sojiro is going to be like a dog. They're gonna keep him as a pet, basically.
Probably, to be honest.
They gotta keep an eye on him. Can't have him spewing the magical thoughts. How many chapters are there?
From what I can tell, I believe 13.
That's fair.
Yeah, 13 chapters.
Cool. He was still in a deep sleep. It all seemed ablaze in a mad fire. It all seemed ablaze in a mad, fiery red. Unbearable, idle thoughts. Incessant
Obstinacy.
obstinacy. Sure. Melancholy sights and gloomy, bittersweet talk. Fickle wickedness, born of human interaction. Namely, the voice of a forsaken coexistence. This, however, was the scenery of a world far removed from that. If there were those praying this was paradise, then they were likely also those lamenting it as the underworld. In a decade, or perhaps longer, this would all change. But for now, the autumn leaves remained yet untrampled by human souls. It was scenery he knew well. Life in the mountains was humble and modest. So we're getting Sojiro backstory.
Sojiro backstory. Yo.
Damn.
See him in the farm.
There were no
Riding
conspicuous
a tractor.
buildings. There were no conspicuous buildings among the wilderness he called home. They gathered and stockpiled only when they needed to survive, without pillaging the land. Serpentine trails could be seen woven through the fields, and the stone steps leading to the summit were obscured by the forest, only visible once upon them. The mountain inhabitants probably intended it that way. There was no sign of mankind's exploration among the mountain's landscape. He suddenly remembered that this was the season he liked the most. Or rather, it suited him the most. There was much to be done or prepared for winter, but whenever he had a free moment, he would make his way towards the mountaintop. Grazing idly at the setting sun while breathing deep in the crisp autumn air was probably the second favorite of his daily joys. It relaxed him, the cold but comforting wind at dusk, and the way the sunset dyed the peaks of vibrant crimson. Not 2 months had passed since coming down from the mountains, and already it pained him that the memories had begun to fade. Someone once told him that memories fade every day, so the best one you do. So the best you... What?
So the best one should do, I'm guessing? I don't know.
So the best ones you do have.
So the best one can do, I think, maybe.
So the best one can do is make
Oh,
as many
yeah,
new
probably.
ones as possible. Okay. Words! Ooh, recollections grew hazy. A new place to live meant the beginning of a new life. He wasn't sure if he was reluctant to let go of the scenery he cherished for so long, or if he'd merely been spoiled by it. Despite his new home in a city surrounded by tall buildings, he felt guilty for wanting those memories alone to remain clear in his mind. Either way, he had to make the best of a fresh start.
What kind of man thinks more about where he came from than where he's going?
He contemplated.
Oh, this is a dream.
He tried to stop himself from indulging in uncharacteristic sentimentality. It wouldn't be a dream if it was easy to understand. The moment he realized he was dreaming, angular shadows began to rise from the autumn colors. They were concrete buildings, previously unknown and yet familiar to him at the same time. This was how his current life was washing away This was how his current life was washing away his memories. Struggle as he might, there was no stopping the degradation of human memory or impressions. It was merely a fact of life. By nature, humans lived in the present over the past. Eventually, even his most cherished memories would be swallowed up by the buildings. It was neither cruel nor heartless. If they were sure to disappear, then for now, he would content himself with dreaming about the memories he could clearly recall. Whether in the mountains or the city, the days flew by. Yesterday's scenery was not the same as today's.
What's your and such?
Big Alco.
She turned into fucking, Godzilla.
Giga Alco.
Just fucking Giga Alco. There she is. She had given him no time to grieve. Distant nostalgia was beautiful, but that made it fleeting.
You know Miyagi Nudo. Sure? Miyagi Night Nudo. Sure. Naozaki. I can't talk my way past you.
A faint dizziness made him close his eyes.
I'm gonna look up what that means. But
You do
okay.
that. Sure, do it. Go for it. I'm trying to take care of a bloody nose, so...
Oh,
do
you
that.
good?
Yeah, I itched. So because it's so dry, I literally scratched my nose, and then suddenly I was like, that felt bad. And guess what? It was.
Oh no.
It's fine. This is what happens to me in the winter. It's my anemia.
It's my anemia. Oh god, the anemia acting up.
Truly.
Okay, so Miyagi Nudo is a kind of yokai.
Oh, what kind? Like, is it like a snow yokai? A trickster yokai?
Oh jeez, okay. When climbing a small slope at night, something taking on the appearance of a little bozu would appear in front, and by looking up it would become taller, and the person looking at it would fall backwards. It is said by chanting Miyagi Nudo, I've seen past you, and lying down forwards, it would disappear.
Oh, I get it then. So it's you're no Miyagi Nudo, Aozaki. I can't talk my way past you.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it. Imagine the meme of the guy tapping his head, because that's what I'm doing currently.
Yeah. I get it.
Oh my god. Everything makes sense now.
So true. Please?
Without sight, the mountainous landscape vanished, but in its place a familiar voice could be heard. I'm gonna blow my nose 1 second. Okay. It was a booming voice that seemed to shake not only the mountainside he stood upon, but the entire mountain as well. And of course, Aoko Awazaki reappeared, towering in the distance.
Awazaki. Giga Awazaki. Giga Aoko. Good lord.
He must have been tired, he thought, diagnosing himself while trying to make out what she was saying. Fearing the vertigo would return if he reopened his eyes, he decided to keep them closed. It sounded like she was arguing with someone, though the tone was all he could make out. It wasn't violent, but certainly aggressive. Oh, it's because Alice was like, whatever you do, don't bring him here. And guess what she did?
This is exactly what she did, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she was picking a fight with another mountain across the way.
I love
Another
this,
mountain.
This guy.
He's such a good boy.
It looked like.
He wouldn't put it past her. After all, she was a troublemaker who blew up the moon.
No,
He couldn't quite
Suki
grasp the
Hime.
conversation. Though somehow, vaguely, he had the sense that his human rights were being largely ignored. It was deeply unsettling, even for a dream. After several minutes, it seemed like the high-impact argument ended in Algo's victory. Then suddenly, the boisterous voice faded. Praying everything would go back to normal, he opened his eyes. Huh? I guess they haven't made it home yet.
Huh.
Yeah, the
He took
theme
a
park's
deep,
gone.
slow breath. The scenery was a far cry from the nostalgic dreamscape he had just left, albeit not unpleasant either. I don't know, that weird Jack-in-the-Box thing is kind of freaking me out.
It's fine, I'm sure.
It's looking like Leatherface a bit there.
Yeah,
Just a bit.
not really here for it. Without a doubt, it was the amusement park. To him, it was his freshest memory. He recalled the House of Mirrors that Aoko Aozaki destroyed. This park was a flawless replica of reality, but he was the only one there. Without having to worry about anyone chasing him, he sat down on the wreckage of Kitsy's rides and looked up at the moon that should have been shot down. The winter moon shone white like a jewel.
Wait,
Didn't they say it should have been a new moon?
hold
This
up a
game-
minute.
This game needs to decide what it's doing. It was layered over the figure of the girl who tried to kill him. If a mage was a witch, then she's definitely fit the bill.
I don't mind being killed.
Such an absurd thing to say, but it spilled out of him so naturally.
Well, maybe.
That had nothing to do with witches or magecraft. There was an echo in the gapes of his heart. Gaps. Gapes or gaps?
Gaps.
Gaps.
Right, because there's no E, okay. If she had not spoken those words, then he would not have responded as he did. In that moment, what had Aoko Awazaki said to him? As he tried to remember, his deep slumber drew to an end. And with it, his chance to find the answers he so wished he could find. Then, Sojiro woke up in an unfamiliar room, gasping.
Did he wait? Did he have a? Did he do the cartoon thing where he like woke up in a dream and then woke up in another dream?
Oh my god, he
Maybe?
was in Inception.
I mean,
I think
considering
he
there
was in
was still a
Inception.
moon, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's what happened.
I'm gonna agree with you.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with you, but I also do not know. So.
I think. I think so at least. He's just going he was dreaming of like a lot of his a lot of his like earlier memories. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. And
And
then
then it.
thinking of Alco and them yelling at each other and
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Anyways.
Did he hear a knife?
No, totally didn't.
Sure it didn't.
Not because I thought. Okay, anyways. Not because the plush mattress he was on was softer than his apartment's cheap futon.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or because everything from the carpet to the wallpaper looked expensive.
Hi, Alice.
Huh.
I thought that
Bewildered,
was
he tried
Suey.
to catch his breath.
I thought that was his Sui.
Got stuck in the Tono Mansion.
The
God.
Total Mansion exists, but not with them yet.
No.
Maybe he's Suey in Kohaku are immortal.
It exists with Makihisa right now.
Yes. Makihisa's probably like a boy.
Oh my god, he is like a boy.
Like a young lad.
Holy crap, that's so weird.
Right? I mean, Shiki isn't even
Goodness.
born yet.
No, Shiki's not even born yet.
None of the Shikis are.
None of the
Neither.
Shikis.
I should say neither, because a lot of Shikis are born now, but. Because, you know, you want to know about Nanaya.
Oh,
The
God.
racist.
The bastard. The racist. The gamer.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Shiki, Nanaya Shiki. It's okay, we'll explain all of it to you afterwards.
Don't worry about it.
Hey.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
She was the cause of his surprise. The moment Sojiro's eyes snapped open, there she was, the girl dressed in black, sitting at his bedside. She pulls out a gun.
Oh my god.
The silence was deafening. Still
Supine?
Still supine on the bed, Sojiro gazed at her. His impulse was to sit up, but he refrained, thinking it might be rude to do it. Thinking it might be rude to be it stare.
To do it staring at
To
a
do-
person. At the
to-
person. I'm guessing to.
To do it staring at the person sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Sure. She was just sitting there, on a chair, dressed in black, modest clothes. Still, she projected an air that was anything but plain. Her monochrome outfit evoked indescribable elegance. Like a costume handmade just for her, from the finest of fabrics. It was enough to inspire poetic sentiments, even in Sojiro. The girl continued to sit, completely motionless.
Glad Sojiro's mind is not as poetically inclined as Shiki's.
So there's a band that I like a song from because it's my name. The song is the title of the song is my name. But they're called
Bees.
No, my legal America name, which is Abigail. I don't care if you guys know. So, but the band is called Motionless in White, and so she's completely motionless in black.
In black.
There was some lead up, but that's where my brain went. Also, Sojiro needs to breathe. The breathing is probably important.
Probably.
Oh my god, he's a manual breather? Oh jeez.
Genuine astonishment had him captivated. such beauty, such grace. It was the first time he had ever thought to use such a simple, plain expression to describe another human being. She was the daffodil in perfect bloom. Oh, so she's a narcissus flower. Love that. Or the ideal female form, seen only in dreams. This quality was something to be cherished and admired in her. It was different from Alko Aozaki's blindingly radiant vitality. After all, the flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. There was no way this girl would be allowed such a happy ending.
Oh, youch.
Oh, this is just a side note. One time we were doing a campfire in my uncle's old house, and he decided to pour gasoline on it because it wasn't burning fast enough for his liking, and the flames went so high and so quickly that it singed one of his eyebrows off.
Oh my god.
He did not have an eyebrow for a very long time.
Good lord.
Marshmallows.
Why
were
would you
good,
pour
though.
gasoline on a fire? Like, I get. I
'Cause
know you
he's a
said.
redneck.
Okay.
That explains everything.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Her life was a solitary fable of someone who left the world in exactly the same way as they entered it. With her humanity stolen at birth, hers was an existence not of this world. The more beautiful something was, the more tragic its fate. Growing up in the mountains, this was not something Sojiro was taught, but something he learned from experience.
It looks like she's sleeping.
Sojiro turned his head as though he was being lured in. He knew it was rude to stare, but he couldn't fight his instincts. Then,
Gun to the face.
huh? This time, his heart actually skipped a beat. She was not asleep at all. Expressionless, she was merely watching over him while he recovered. Sojiro froze, unable to turn his head away or think of anything clever to say. It was like staring into her eyes turned into stone. Perhaps because of her delicate features, she looked somewhat younger than him. Hold on, I think I'm gonna cough, but I don't.
You good?
Yes, hold on. I could feel the tickle in my throat. On the
Excuse you.
on the other hand, her tranquil expression made him feel like she was older. Jet black hair, just to her shoulders. Her large eyes were set like onyx stones, matching her hair. Devoid of emotion, her gaze stayed fixed on Sojiro. Even after their eyes met, she did not turn away. You're just having a staring contest.
There.
Stare.
Thank
He
you,
wanted to
Kawaku.
He wanted to speak, but could not find the words. It was not unlike a frog being stared down by a snake. Nevertheless, he just could not bring himself to say something. Additionally, no matter how carefree Sojiro might have been, He was painfully aware that this girl was as powerful as Aoko. Less talkative, to be sure, but still powerful. Objectively, the scene was not unlike that of one nursing a bedridden stranger. He had no idea what she may have been thinking about, but it seemed to him that this harsh silence might last forever. All he could say for sure was that the quiet did not appear to bother her in the slightest. It was like some bizarre form of punishment.
This is some kind of test from Aozaki. It sure is elaborate.
He thought, keeping an eye on the girl. He felt like the moment he turned his head or blinked, she might stab him in the chest with a hidden blade.
My God.
and not because his imagination was running away with him. In the
Stifling, yeah.
Stifling? In the stifling silence, it was only natural that Sojiro would think back on what had happened in the amusement park, and it made him uneasy. But stronger than anxiety was his fascination with the girl. Her slender frame and milky white skin. I don't think he spent enough time describing Aoko like this. I feel like this is like a Shigi explaining his sister again, where it's like, okay,
Damn it.
we
This
get
feels
it.
very much like that.
You can stop. Like, you can stop, I promise. We get it. Lord. The chill of her guarded stare, the warmth of her lingering femininity. It was the mixture of those two latter qualities that was almost magical. He stared at her for so long he began to get the feeling that they had met somewhere before. Sometime before the conflict at Kitsyland.
Yeah, like literally the day before.
Like, no, literally hours before, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The same day attempted murder. He could not quite put his finger on it, but he was sure he had seen her previously. It's because he was so busy looking at Aoko and answering her dumb lion versus kitty question.
Yes. Oh my God, Aozaki!
Aozaki, is that your friend? And then he just like didn't pay attention to the friend at all. Didn't even say hi. Fun time. I'm like
Rude.
looking over the scene, and it's just he doesn't even say hi to her. Like, damn.
I don't know if this is the right time to ask this, but
His voice shattered the frozen silence in the room. He almost felt sorry for making noise as he spoke out to her. But they could not very well just sit and stare at each other forever. Though he might have been the only one thinking they were staring, and perhaps she thought they were glaring at each other.
Where am I? And who might you be?
She narrowed her
Real?
eyes slightly,
Oh,
though apparently not out of offense. There was no response. Just as he was thinking it might have been better to keep quiet, she quietly raised her hand.
Holsters a gun.
This is yours, is it not? Her voice was cold, but melodic. A white piece of cloth was wrapped in her fingers. There was no need to tell him what it was. He was conscious enough to recognize his own possessions. Sojiro sat speechless as she tossed it to him. Picking it up, he wrapped it around his neck.
Oh,
Oh,
Are?
it's
the
it's the
neck wrap.
bandages, the neck wrap. Yeah.
Is it his dirty handkerchief?
No, it's his neck wrap.
Oh, okay.
What's his neck look like?
We're not gonna
Show it.
see.
Oh,
Nope.
we didn't see it.
No, we're not
It's
gonna get
not
to see
show-
it. It's gonna
Just
be a
really-
goddamn big plot reveal, I guess. Oh, so it is something important because she's like, does Alco know about that? He looked away in response to her blunt question. Distracted by something unrelated. She called Alco Aozaki by her given name, which led him to believe that the mountain Alco had argued with in his dreams was actually this girl beside him.
I'm not sure.
As sincerely as he could, he answered without presumption. There are things that should be known, and things that need not be. There
Raise
are
the
also things
camera.
that should be told, and other things that must not be. Sojiro was not exactly sure what that she was referring to. However,
Maybe it's better that way.
he smiled slightly at her question. Perhaps impressed by his response, the overwhelming pressure in the room dissipated noticeably.
God dang it! Show us his neck.
Show us his neck.
What, does he have, like... we know he doesn't have gills because the boy can't fucking swim.
He has a hickey.
An internal hickey.
A hickey that's
Perpetual hickey.
Exactly.
maybe Voldemort's in his neck.
God dang it.
Or maybe she had been more nervous than he was the entire time.
Get the Horcruxes.
Oh my god.
Projecting the image that his room was her domain a tad too strongly. The tension faded. Sojiro tried to sit up and prop his arms beneath him. Now that they were talking, it seemed awkward to stay lying down. However, his body felt strange as he tried to move, and it surprised him by how difficult it was to sit up. It took everything in him just to raise his upper body to a sitting position.
Huh? I'm still in my clothes.
As he threw the covers back, he tilted his head quizzically.
I'm sorry. This is such a nice bed, too. I shouldn't be in my clothes under the sheets. No, what a waste of a good bed.
She stared at him, not expecting him to complain about not wearing pajamas while sleeping. Somehow it appeared that he had done something to surprise her.
But why? I didn't do anything.
Pouting a bit at the unwarranted curiosity, he turned to face her. Although he was still mostly lying down, it was at least a more dignified position.
So, any chance you'll tell me?
Indeed, he needed to find out where he was and who she was before anything else. Actually, the more he thought about what happened at the amusement park, the more he got a sinking feeling in his stomach. Perhaps finally getting through to her, she calmly moved her arm from behind her back when... A knife! No.
Lamb. Shotgun.
Once again, they silently locked eyes. Thump, thump, thump. There was a startling sound of rapidly approaching footsteps. They both had a pretty good idea of who it was. Alice, you promised! Just as expected. Aoko Aozaki burst through the door with a thunderous roar. She entered wearing her school uniform, her long hair flowing behind her. Her breathing was heavy, and her forehead was wrinkled by a scowl, granting her a demonic appearance.
Where the wrinkles at?
Alice! The girl named Alice scowled slightly in response. She may have even had let a sigh of disappointment slip out. Aoko. Home early, I see. Her calm voice was the polar opposite of Aoko's. Needless to say, her voice dipped with a brazen coldness. That's because I know you all too well. Over the past 2 years, I've come to expect how quickly you jump to conclusions. You might all act all mild-mannered, but as soon as things don't go your way, your veil drops. Oh dear, you make it sound so scandalous. Effortlessly, she brushed aside Aoko's jab. In doing so, Sojiro had the distinct impression that she no longer even realized he was in the room. I'll let the record show that I've lost count on how many times you've gone back on your word. I'm tired of hearing the same old story after the fact. I know I said I would leave it to you, but after careful consideration, I decided to take care of it myself. I may have come to terms with your short fuse, but the least you can do in return is to trust your partner to set things right, no?
Short fuse. That's ironic.
You're right. We wouldn't be partners otherwise. Though, you're hardly one to talk. After
Unilaterally.
unilaterally deciding our plan from here on out. We've been over this already. We won, okay? Besides, who was the one who said we should let him live if he escaped? Yet, again, you've gone back on your word, Alice. Oh, don't tell me. Next year you're going to be saying, that's the reason you can't let sleeping dogs lie. Alice frowned slightly and fell silent. Her housemates seemed to have struck a nerve that Alice herself did not know was there. Anyway, we agreed to decide what to do with him when he wakes up after hearing him out, right? So stop trying to flip the script every time my back is turned. Speaking of which, aren't you supposed to be at school? It's noon already. I remember you only had your school's end of term ceremony today, so I told them I had to leave early for personal reasons. This is so warped. I have finals coming up, for goodness sakes. Aoko grumbled more to herself than anyone else in the room. Then she locked eyes with Alice. Or, more accurately, they glared daggers at each other. The room had become tense once again, and it felt like a fight could break out at any moment. With no way to escape, Sojiro had no choice but to sit and watch. But then, the electric silence that seemed like it would last forever suddenly broke about a minute later. Apparently, this sort of clash was an everyday occurrence. I'll be in the drawing room. Explain the circumstances to him. Alice stood up from the chair and made for the door. Watching her go, Sojiro cocked his head. In her hand was what he could only describe as
fruit knife?
Oh, she was
to kill
so
him.
gonna stab him.
She really was. Oh my god.
Holy shoot. Whoo. Whoo, real.
She straight up was gonna stab this boy.
This-
Damn, Alice.
That's intense.
Yikes.
Very big.
Not even
Oof.
with a proper knife, but just a fruit knife.
Just a tiny little. Do you know how small fruit knives are? They're
Yes.
tiny.
Yeesh.
Like
Where was she gonna like pierce her through? His heart? Is it long enough to reach his heart?
I
His
mean,
point of death, obviously.
it's like, clearly, I don't know what you're talking about.
She got the magic eyes, the special eyes.
And mystic eyes, dog.
Look what your special eyes, my brand. He had no other words to describe the tool she was clutching. Alice, I hate to ask, but what's in your hand? Alco asked Alice as she walked past. A dagger. What else? Alice answered expressionlessly before briskly walking out of the room. This poor boy.
Everyone wants to murder him.
Poor baby.
What did he even do?
Exist.
Damn.
Sojiro thought it best to not think too deeply about the scene he had just witnessed.
Can he
Fair.
even have the capacity to think deeply?
At any rate, the girl in black had withdrawn, and along with her the feeling of tension. Leaving a bedridden Sojiro alone with an Alco still dressed for school. From Sojiro's perspective, this was a perfect chance to get answers to his ever-growing list of questions.
My head's spinning now, Zaki.
I bet. I'll explain everything in order, so just shut up and listen. Pulls out dry erase
Teach
board.
me Alco-sensei?
Teach me Alco-sensei.
I see the facial paralysis is gone, and your breathing has stabilized. Looks like you're through the worst of it. She nodded, satisfied as she took a seat. How do you feel?
A bit sluggish.
Sorry. he oh my god, my hold on, I gotta clean my glasses really quick.
All good.
He answered meekly, dropping his shoulders. He opened and closed his left hand a few times, but moving his fingers felt slow and awkward. It was clear he was still in bad shape. There we go. Meanwhile, Alco blinked her eyes was blinking her eyes in wonder. Or was it admiration? Between Alice and Alco, Sojiro did not know which of the girls was the harder one to read. Well, you're bound to feel a bit sluggish. Lying in bed for 2 days straight would make anyone feel weak. I was joking when I said he'd be out for days after this. I was joking.
We were also joking about the knife. A lot of these jokes are ending up being real.
Why am I good at knowing things? Damn.
You're joking about him jumping up on the egg.
I've joked about him jumping on the egg. I joked about him, like, passing out for days after this. I joked about
We
the knife.
joke
Sometimes
about
Apollo,
Vav coming in here.
Huh?
sometimes Apollo just grants just thinks it's funny to grant the gift of prophecy to random people at random intervals.
Seems
So
Seems
You know what? Sure. Apollo is a pretty dope god. I'm okay with that. I got
fair
him
enough, I guess.
for Greek parents. He's one of the ones that I got when I took the quiz. So sure.
B, make a joke about Vlav in here.
I'm gonna read now. But I never thought you'd be well enough to speak. You're a lot tougher than you look.
2 days?
It's been 2 days. Don't worry about the school. I submitted a notice of absence. In the meantime, Alice and I dispelled the Gondar curse and Dumpty poem.
Gander.
Sojiro nodded at the word curse, as if recalling it suddenly.
I will be right back. Give me a minute.
Now we wait.
Wait.
'Cause life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
Duckburg. Race cars, lasers.
I was gonna
and
say, I was gonna
lasers.
make a joke about Witch of the Hole. I was gonna
Duckburg.
say something about
Huh?
here in like, I really don't know what I was gonna say, but there's something you could have done there to relate it to this.
DuckTales. Woo!
Every day they're out there
DuckTales.
making DuckTales.
Woo!
I have a theory about what's under those bandages.
Okay, so like we know it has to be something because now Alice is like the main person who's like brought it up, and
Vampire bite. That's
no, it's
that's the
probably
closest
not.
thing that could be it.
Well, but no, that would make him a dead apostle. I don't think he's a dead apostle. I think my current work, right, is that underneath it he has a crest, but he was given the crest without his knowledge, and he doesn't know how to use magic. That is my working theory currently.
That does lead to more drama
Hmm?
than the vampire bite. Could be there.
Plus, I think that's what's gonna save him from the other, from the lady that looks, terrifying in the green outfit
Oh yes.
that we saw
The
briefly a while
horrible
back.
folklore creature.
What do you mean, horrible folklore creature?
Back.
Hi, Keith.
There is folklore in my home that is exactly that. It terrifies me. I feel a tribal fear.
What are we talking about?
So we're trying to guess what's underneath his bandages, and my thought is that he has a crest on his neck, but he doesn't know because it's not like you could fucking look at your neck, right?
Right.
And if he continuously wears that around his neck so much, someone probably told him to do it, so he doesn't know how to use magic, but he has a crest on him, and I think that's what's gonna save him from the other witch that he saw at that one job with the green outfit.
Oh, right.
I think that's what's gonna save him from that.
That's fair.
So
Yeah, my thought was vampire bite or someone cut his head off and someone put it back.
so he's like the girl with
He's
the girl with the green ribbon,
he's yeah,
or like
he's
a
something like that.
oh god, it's Irish. It starts with a D. Doulahan. He's like a male Doulahan.
Oh, yeah, Doulahan.
Which, by the
Hey,
way, there's actually no male Doulahans. They're all female.
Huh.
Let's continue.
Interesting.
Damn.
Hey,
Hmm?
you guys see that little mark underneath his chin?
Wait, what?
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
I
Hmm.
You
don't
think that's
think
just
that's
art?
shading.
Like wrinkles?
Yeah, I don't think that's shading. I don't think that's wrinkles either.
They don't show wrinkles. Like, wrinkles don't exist in Type Moon.
That's
Could be a sign of assault. You know, could be vampire bite,
Lord.
or maybe someone tried to strangle them, and the
He fought a
scars are
bear.
still there.
He fought. I mean, didn't
He
he say
fought
that
a
he, like,
bear.
bumped
That
into a
could
bear
work.
at one point? I don't know.
It was real.
Okay, new working theory. He bumped into a bear. The bear cut his head clean off, and someone had to put it back.
Oh, Lord.
Sure. Anyways,
It was all coming back to him now.
どうかしたそんな遠い目しちゃって
What's wrong? You look troubled by something.
ああ忘れてた
I just forgot everything that happened. I just forgot everything that really happened is all. Was I really asleep for 2 days? Huh. Getting cursed is pretty scary.
ほんと緊張感ないわねあんた
You're as cool as a
ロー
cucumber,
マのよう
aren't
に
you?
登ってたのが嘘みたい
It's as if 2 days on death's door hasn't changed you a bit. Do you realize you were one step away from becoming a vegetable for the rest of your life?
Wow.
ちょっと待った今すごいこと言わなかったか
Wait just a second. Was it really that bad?
言ったけど聞かなか
It
った
was. And I guess you're proof that ignorance is bliss after all.
経緯はどうあれ
Anyway,
後でアリスにお礼を言っときなさい
what's done is done.
私じゃ
Be sure to
解
thank
除できなかった
Alice later. I couldn't have lifted the curses without her help.
ひどい花もあったもんだ
Yeah. Sometimes bliss is overrated.
けど
Oh, and yeah, you said the name Alice. Was that girl Alice? Or was she the one who, tried to kill us at the amusement park?
Alko replied that it was.
彼女ずっとそこに座ってた
She was sitting by my side for ages. Is this her room or something?
Sojiro scanned the room again. He was not accustomed to sleeping on anything other than a futon, and the room looked especially foreign to him.
うんここはただの客室長いこと使ってなかったから埃だら
No,
けでしょ
this is just a guest room. It hasn't been used in forever, hence the dust over everything.
それよりアリスと何か
More
話したの
importantly, what did you and Alice talk about? Literally nothing.
Well,
いや
we didn't really talk so much as...
He brought his hand to his mouth and recalled the few words they exchanged. As Sojiro said, calling it a conversation would be a gross overstatement. And yet, thinking back on it, it seemed that they had talked for hours, which brought an uncomfortable smile to his face.
とはいえ
But it's fine. I'm no longer worried.
青崎がやってくるのがもう少し
Although, would have been nice if you had come a little later, Alzaki.
Alko narrowed his eyes at his innocent slip of the tongue. She knew Sojiro did not mean to treat her like a nuisance, but nevertheless, she found it hard to take the full brunt of the words said to her face. Even worse, she sensed she was getting used to his manner of speaking.
でもだからなのかもね
So that's why she...
相変わらず首の皮一
You
枚の
really
人生を
do
送っ
have
て
a
るわ
knack for
あなたっ
surviving
て
by the skin of your teeth, don't you? He tilted his head, clearly confused.
だからあんたはよっぽどア
I'm
リス好み
saying
の
you
対
did
応をした
something to
のよ
please Alice.
まだ生きてる
That's the
そうい
reason
うこ
you're
と
still alive.
Hmm?
No matter how hard he tried, he could not grasp what she was getting at. He decided to change the subject to something else.
By the way, where are we exactly? I asked the other girl, but she wouldn't tell me. You can tell me, right now, Zaki?
ここは三崎町の幽霊屋敷よ。
You are inside
正確には
Misaki's
クオンジ
infamous
邸と
haunted
言えばいいかし
house,
らね。
but you can call it the Kionji Man. The Kionji Man. I keep trying to say Kionji Mansion, and that's not what that says. It says
Kuonji
Kionji
Estate.
Estate. That says estate. I think it's because Misaki is like diagonal from it, and I just
クオン
kept
ジ
going.
アリ
And,
スの持ち家で、私が住んでるところです。
and that
こ
girl,
の後あなたを
that's
ここま
Alice
で持ってき
Kouonji.
たんだけど、
This is
覚
her
えてないでしょ？
mansion, which happens to be the place I currently call home. After the other night, I brought you here. You don't remember, do you? Something about the way she said that made him feel uncomfortable. Should he remember? No, he should not.
Kuonji. I've heard that name before. Hey, I know. Some old guys in the shopping district were talking about it. The Kuonjis are a rich and famous family. Son.
それ、アリスの前では
Don't you
琥珀
dare
と
say
よ。
that in front of Alice.
穏便にここで
If you
暮
want
ら
to
したい
live here in
のね。
peace, that is.
Huh?
Confused again, Sojiro tilted his head for what seemed like the 100th time that day. And once again, he had heard something to make him feel uneasy.
Zaki? Did you just say...
しずきくん、私ね、
Suzuki,
あから
I
さ
have
まな
very
嘘
little
を言う
patience
人
for
と
liars,
同じ
idiots,
ことを
and people
何
that
度も
make
言
me
わせる
repeat
人と
myself.
察しの悪い人には容赦しないから。そのあたり覚えておいてね。
Do your best to remember
ここ
that
で
if you want to
平穏
enjoy
に
your
暮らし
stay
たいな
here.
ら。
With her best smile, Aoko made her threatening proclamation. Needless to say, caught Sojiro completely off guard.
I must have misheard you. Because I could have sworn you said something about me living here.
He shot her an honest stare of disapproval. It was the best resistance he could muster. But it was not in the slightest effective against Aoko's overpowering, ruthless glare.
あなた、自分の立
The
場を
quicker
分か
you
ってる？
understand the position you're in, the better it'll be for you.
You mean...
He considered his words carefully. Her words. Bleh. He wanted to openly express his feelings on the matter, but instead he swallowed his words and shook his head. Despite his typical inability to read people's emotions, he at least seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. It appeared that he had finally realized that it was his carefree mood that typically got on Aoko's nerves.
ああ、そうだった。あんたに回りくどいこと言っても無駄だったよね。
My mistake. I forgot there's no use beating around the bush with you.
いいわ。
Fine.
考える時間
I
ぐらい
wanted to
あげた
give you
かったけ
time
ど
to think,
時間もないし、
but we're way
はっ
past
きり
that,
と言ってあげる。
so I'll just come right out and say it. You
いい？
leave this
鈴木
house,
くん。
you're going to die. Listen to me, Suzuki.
この度、あなたは
As of now,
私
you're
たちの
being
監
placed
視下に
under
置か
our
れることになりま
surveillance.
した。
Or supervision.
しば
Fuck.
らくはここで
Mhm,
一緒に
kind of the
暮
same
らし
thing.
てもらいます。
Supervision. You'll be living here together with us for the time being.
もちろん、
Naturally, I reserve the right to decide whether you live or die.
What?
The blatant tyranny in her voice caused him to sputter. He wished that she would just stop smiling in an attempt to make it seem any less outrageous.
Live together? With you?
sleepover. Oh my god. It's a permanent sleepover. It was not the faint expectation of living under the same roof with Alco that had him flustered. Rather, he was genuinely concerned about his own safety. Regardless of how good-natured he was, it seemed he finally came to grips with the fact that he just escaped death.
You can't be serious. That's like seeking warmth next to the bear before it goes into hibernation.
Yeah, too bad. Alco agreed, as blunt as a comparison as it was. Once in a while, you will have some pretty accurate?
Accurate.
Okay. Once in a while, you'll have some pretty accurate metaphors, you know. But I'm glad you figured it out. Make a wrong move or break a rule, I'll end you. For real this time. Plus, it's just me and Alice you'll be living with.
Fucking murderous glare.
She has way less common sense than I do, so if you're not careful, you'll wind up dead by her hands too. Alco was 100% serious.
Wait,
This poor boy.
to the bandage. Discoloration.
Fine. It's just
He's doing great.
it's fine.
Alco was 100% serious. It was her sincerity that made it all the more believable.
No. No.
Obviously, there was no way the victim, Sojiro, could accept these terms.
Oh, wait a minute. You're not making any sense, Ozaki. You say I'm under your supervision, but why is that necessary? If you think about it, I haven't done anything wrong, so there's really no point in keeping an eye on me. This has to be a misunderstanding. Is it are all mages like you, Ozaki?
Arrogant and selfish were the words that the harmless boy's gaze seemed to imply. Alco felt a headache coming on. Due to his innate, easygoing persona, Sojiro had not thought to question that Alco being a mage was out of the ordinary. That's the problem! We need to keep an eye on you so you don't go around saying things like that and blow our cover, you dunce! Alco flew out of her chair. She had been doing her best to keep her cool, but it seemed her well of patience had finally run dry. Witnessing Alco's snap, Sojiro clapped his hands together.
Oh, now I get it. The reason you tried to kill me was because you had to hide the fact that you're a mage.
Now he gets it.
Okay, if that's the case, then I get it. You're monitoring me to protect your secret, and not taking my life is your way of throwing me a bone.
I mean, those aren't the words I would use, but sure. Sounds a bit harsh when you put it that way.
But ain't this all a little unrealistic? I have school and work to go to. Can't stay locked up inside this house all day.
In an instant, Sojiro's objectivity had her stumped, leaving her at a loss for words. He honestly had no idea what position he was in. To believe that he had any sort of freedom at this point was shocking, to say the least. Just breathe, Alco. If anything, this will speed things along. Ako somehow managed to compose herself. As a matter of fact, she never had any intention of imprisoning him. Stripping him of his freedom and incarcerating him would go against their agreement anyway. Besides, if she was going to go that far, it would be easier to just kill him. To Aoko, letting him live meant showing a modicum of respect to Sojiro's way of life.
You're not saying... Wait, don't tell me I can't even leave this room.
A light bulb went off in his head as he blurted out what he was thinking. It appeared he had finally got the grim message. Aoko looked somewhat satisfied at his dismay. Relax, locking up would actually be more trouble than it's worth. Your freedom was taken into consideration. To what degree you are free will be left to the discretion of Alice and her abilities, so you won't have to worry about that. A gloomy look fell over Sojiro's face as he found his concern growing by the second. Alright, look. Sparing your life is based on the premise that you will live in this house under supervision, and that's only until a more permanent solution is found. It's a lot more amicable than just disposing of the witness, don't you think? At any rate, this is my way of keeping our promise, so no complaining. This cold war I'm waging with Alice is enough of a headache already. She sighed as she stared Sojiro down as he lay on the bed. But make no mistake, your status here is the lowest of the low, even lower than a dog's. Since that night, I'm the one to decide whether you live or die, which means you belong to me now. Is that clear enough for you? As Alice finished her... This isn't Alice, though. Hello?
This is
Aoko.
Zelko. Okay.
This game, I swear. As Aoko finished her declaration, Sojiro subtly looked up at the ceiling so she would not notice his reaction. He meant no offense to Aoko, but he had to hide the fact that he fundamentally disagreed with her analogy. Look at his face. That's a good face. That's a good Sojiro face. In Sojiro's opinion, it was disrespectful to both dogs and humans to be calling him lower than a dog. A more accurate analogy of their power dynamic would be that of a rabbit and a wild boar, hence why he chose not to voice this opinion. Because if he called her a wild boar, I think he'd just end up dead. They'd put him in a trash compactor. Unlike his apartment, the ceiling here was decorated with ornate patterns. Putting aside how he would be treated here in terms of lodging, putting aside how he'd be treated here in terms of lodging, it was a definite upgrade. Maybe it would be not all that bad. Sojiro nodded slowly, as if to persuade himself. And for the time being, I've decided to let you live. That is what she had told him, not 2 days ago.
I don't really accept what you're saying. I understand my position. I remember what you promised me now. There are lots of things I could disagree with, but I admit you did promise me at least that. Are you really serious about me living with the two of you? I know you're pretty easygoing, but that girl seems pretty against it. And I'm not exactly.
We've already taken everything out of your apartment. At this point, he zipped his lips. Alko's eyes were tinged with bloodlust.
あら、
Oh,
鈴木君の
please
ごとな
excuse me. I'm sorry to hear that you're dissatisfied with the arrangement. Her contrived smile, so obviously forced, struck despair into Sojiro's heart. Come to think of it, he vaguely recalled her warning to him to not make her repeat herself. Furthermore, as a practical matter, Sojiro Suzuki's life was now in the hands of Aoko Awazaki. It would be unwise to anger her further, he told himself as if speaking to a third person.
Not at all. I mean, what choice do I have anyway?
None, Aoko said with a firm nod of her head. Sojiro slumped his shoulders in surrender.
Horrible.
Alright. I understand you now, Aozaki. Just let me ask you this one thing. Do I have any human rights?
Oh my god.
バカね。そんな形のない
Poor
もの
little
初めから
Suzuki.
ある
No.
You never had any in the first
なんだって
place.
言わないで
Now stop wasting my time with stupid questions.
Wow. Wow.
Sojiro reflected upon her answer, now feeling like his question was indeed stupid.
She's cold-hearted as fuck.
I mean, she's a mage. She was ready to kill him, so.
All these mages.
I think the
are
only mage that,
horrible.
like, doesn't suck is, like, Reen. Because, like, she genuinely tries to make sure that no one is in the area if she
Yeah.
fights.
Yeah, that's a big plot. That's a
Scandalous
big.
mage.
Like,
Well, wait.
and, like,
No,
even when
I
she
guess.
has to do it, like, she doesn't want to. Like,
Yes.
she feels bad about it. Like, she even, like, when they had to, like, kill Shiro, like, she was like, I'll like, stay with you here until you die. Like, she was just, like, she still has that kind-heartedness, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Aozaki very much is, like, playing with her food kind of mage. When it comes to, like, because she was like, I'm gonna chase him down. Now, granted, you can take that as, like, oh, she just wanted to prolong it because she felt bad. But, like, really, if you have to do it, just one shot, one kill. Like, let's just get this
Really?
over with. Like, don't drag it out like that. Like,
It's cruel.
yeah, it's cruel and unusual punishment.
Didn't they have like some kind of spell to memory wipe people? If this has happened so many times.
Not every person has the ability to memory wipe people, but every single mage, and not every mage has the ability to like use a spell to wipe people's memories. But every mage has the ability to kill them. So
Yes, every mage
that's
can murder a
actually
man.
usually the option.
That is a
Hmm.
that is a sentence.
It is a sentence, but it's
That is
true.
indeed insane.
That's very fair. It
Not
is
every
true.
not every magis focuses on a different kind of magic, or rather magecraft, and it's not a good expectation to, or because of how Type Moon magecraft works. It's not reasonable to expect every magus to know the specifics of trying to wipe someone's memory,
Mm.
especially on what may or may not be multiple people if you're reckless enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it is admittedly, practically, much more efficient to just kill them.
Oh my god.
And like that's what a lot of them resort to. It's actually the norm and
Mhm.
kind of expected.
Yeah.
So
It's, like,
this
literally
is their
taught.
culture. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like literally like taught to new mages. It's like, hey, you fuck up, you have to kill them.
Yes.
Then you have people like Reen, where she's like, where even in Unlimited Blade Works, she even says like that she hates that rule.
Yeah. Yeah,
She
that's like
hates.
that's a core part of what makes Reen Reen.
Yeah.
Uh she might like be the progenitor of like of like, tsundere kind of tendencies for a lot of like for like a lot of anime tropes and everything, but she genuinely cares, but her genuine care for people and her moral compass is what set her apart from is what like characterizes her in the context of the Fate Stay Night
Mm-hmm.
and at large the general Nasuverse.
Yeah.
So Alko doing this is kind of expected.
Yeah. No, it's very very expected. It's just it. And also, it's one of
unfortunate,
those
but I
things
get
where
it.
like, it's also one of those things where like she can still be a good person, but like, and I don't think it's like, I don't think this goes for her, but like there could be a mage who is just like so oh, what's the word, numb to the thought of death, that like doing this feels the same as just like ringing a doorbell.
Right.
Because there are mages out there that probably are like that, where it's like, oh no, they saw that, boom, done.
Right.
Like, just
Imagine that is so. If a rule like kill everyone that sees you doing magic is a thing
Mhm.
and culturally accepted.
yeah. And I mean, they want you to be careful. Obviously, they don't want you to like do a big grand magic show and then kill like 700 people.
Right.
They
That's brought up in Lord Elmaloy this
Mhm.
in the case files of Lord Elmaloy II, where a secret where a man literally like using who focuses on like magecraft on like zoology magecraft accidentally lets loose some of his um chimeras,
Mhm.
and they end up killing a few non mages, and it attracts a little bit of attention because it also causes a decent amount of blackouts in the area.
Mhm.
Oh,
And that person was eventually caught by the Mages Association and had all of his assets frozen and all of his
oh,
tenure at the Mages Association gone.
they have to kill everyone.
I mean, they didn't. I mean, he was so distraught at it that he was just kind of taken into custody right then and there.
Mhm.
Right? No, no, but like, did they have to kill the people that witnessed all of that?
Yeah, but there was no
Well,
one who witnessed it.
there was no one who witnessed that
Oh,
specific like
no
thing happening.
witnesses, but just there were just occurrences that ended up affecting
There
the
was just
people.
there were just occurrences that ended up affecting people and ended up could potentially attract attention.
Poor man went bankrupt because he tried to pull a Fantastic Beasts.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he was kind of a dick anyways.
Fair.
Anyways,
I love it. It's a great time.
that's what I thought. I had a feeling this was gonna happen even before waking up.
Mm? His muttering provoked a dubious stare from Alco before she quickly retracted it. If she questioned every little thing he said, they would be there until sundown.
とにかく納得いったみたいね。
Well, as long as you understand.
じゃあ次、いよいよ本題。
Now we need to get down to brass tacks.
説明しなく
Let's
ちゃ
move
い
to
け
the
ない
drawing
ことが
room.
山ほどあ
I
る
have a
んだ。
ton of explaining to do.
で、一人で立てる？
Can you stand on your own?
I was able to move my hands earlier, so blood is at least flowing. I should be able to walk.
そうなら問題ないわね。
Good. You'll be fine then. With that, she turned her back and walked away from him. He's seen this bold form of hers many times before. Instantly, the memories flashed back to him like lightning.
I remember now. This is the Ozaki I know.
Without knowing it, he cracked a smile. He was so lost that he did not know that oh my god, fuck. His left from his right, but recalling this alone was enough to calm him. The Yauko he knew was different from the one in the House of Mirrors. She was not that brooding girl he saw there. He felt a pang of nostalgia. The Yauko he knew was brisk in movement and unfaltering in gaze, just like this one. She was the same as when he first met her, moody, yet overflowing with confidence, in her element.
ほら、急いだ急い
Let's
だ。
go, let's go, chop chop!
アリスがさっきから今まで
Alice is
お待ち
waiting
かね
for us in the drawing room. She was already outside the door, standing in the chilly corridor.
You must not know what it's like to be bedridden, Naozaki.
Grunting and groaning, Sojiro eventually got to his feet. His body, heavy and stiff, while he was lying down, cried out in pain as he tried to stand and walk. Every step sent shooting pains through his bones. Despite this, he put on a calm face and made his way towards Alko. Typically, he was quick to not pay any mind to life's little struggles, but these pains, he needed to force himself to consciously ignore them. In other words, he was displaying false bravado, an uncharacteristic reaction for someone who'd never suppressed their true feelings.
驚いた。
Amazing.
本当にタフね。
You really are tough, huh?
Thanks. It's just my heart that's fragile.
そう。
Oh yeah?
参考までに
I'll keep that in
心に
mind
留
to try
め
not to
ておくわ。
hurt your precious
できるだけ
feelings.
優しく扱えるようにね。
Naturally, her voice was devoid of any true empathy. She turned away from the once more dejected Sojiro and began walking briskly down the corridor. Oh, and just then she stopped, feet snapped together, as though something had popped into her head. And just as she was remembering something she had forgotten, in a completely trivial way,
それじゃあ行くわよ。
Follow
つい
me,
てきて
Sojiro.
宗十郎。
She gallantly turned towards the way she was heading. The words sounded so natural as she spoke them. Alko did not see the look in Sojiro's eyes as he heard her words. For though she worked in the Arcana, the spell Alko had woven was apparent to everyone but her. After blinking his eyes as if blinded by something, Sojiro casually nodded and followed behind her.
I think the spell is called Stockholm Syndrome.
I think the spell is that's the first time she's ever said his fucking name, like his first name. So they're being informal.
That's just the very beginning.
They're being informal.
Just the very beginnings of Stockholm.
Stockholm. Right. It is very nearly 3 o'clock. So
Yes, it is. Is this where we stop? I wasn't even the one who said let's stop.
Yes.
Wow. Keith makes a decision.
Yes.
Anyways, everyone say goodbye.
Becoming
Later,
more
gamers.
responsible.
We're gonna go buzz off now. Da da.